Swing and a drive.
Welcome to Red, White, and Blue Jays, the podcast home of Blue Jays Fans UK, a group connecting Blue Jays fans around the UK and beyond, and telling their story. And now, here's the host of Red, White, and Blue Jays, Steve Hunter.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to Red, White and Blue Jays. And I have got somebody I've wanted to get on the pod for a long time because Lee Hatfield is the original GOAT. He is the starter of all things in Blue Jays UK world. And I wanted to pin him down because I want to dig into that little story. But Lee, very warm welcome to you. How you doing, sir?
Hi, Steve. Thanks very much. I've never been called a goat before. I've been called many things, but never a goat. But yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
Yeah, or if you have, it's probably been in a slightly different context.
Let's not go there.
So, Lee, just I know in the Facebook world you're legendary because you were one of a couple of guys who started up the Blue Jays UK group some years ago. But for people who aren't in Facebook and that stuff, but on Twitter, just give us a little bit of your story, where you are, what you're doing in life, that sort of stuff. That would be really good to hear a little bit of that.
Okay, so the reason why I'm in Canada is because I married a Canadian. So that's basically why I'm over here.
So when was that? How long ago?
I moved over here 2013.
Okay.
So I really started looking into, watching baseball back in 2000. My mum passed away at the end of the 1998. So the inheritance, I always wanted to go to America.
Right.
So I ended up going to New York, Mississippi, and Los Angeles. And the people that I stayed with in Los Angeles took me to an Angels game. And that was my very first input of baseball.
Yeah.
And then basically,
can you remember who played that day?
I actually did some research. It was actually the Baltimores. Baltimore, yeah, and we actually won 3-0.
We won. What, as in the Angels?
Well, yeah, it was them at the time.
Okay.
Sort of like the proverbial we, because I was obviously following the people that were following the home team, so yeah, that's how it went. But yeah, it was an experience, and especially going to somewhere like LA Angels that have got the waterfall in the background and stuff like that. Right. And I always remember one point where this woman was sat behind me and she tapped me on the shoulder and she went, "Do you know what that guy's doing down there?" And I went, "Excuse me, do I really sound like I know what I'm talking about with baseball?" And she went, "Oh no, it'd be cricket for you guys, wouldn't it?" And I went, "Yeah, exactly." So
there you go. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so basically, I've been over here since 2013. Originally, when we started the group, there was 4 of us. There was me, the wife, Kelly, Bobby, who's on the East Coast, and a guy called Merv, who's no longer with the group. Basically, I was so naive towards baseball. It was a case of, Bobby, what's an RBI? Bobby, what's this? Bobby, what's... So we created this group so I could ask all these questions because I was a complete novice, really. Yeah. Like I say, I'd watched it a bit, but I really didn't have any favourite team. My hometown in the UK is Boston, so I kind of took a direction towards Boston Red Sox. You do, yeah. Boston, the Bruins and stuff like that. Yeah. But it wasn't until I started seeing Kelly back in 2011 that, because she was Canadian, and when I first came over to Canada, she took me to my very first Blue Jays game. Guess who it was against? The Baltimores.
Okay.
Baltimore again. So I've probably seen Baltimore as many times as what I've seen the Blue Jays, to be fair.
So we just need to, just before we get into all the baseball, we need to dig into this you meeting Kelly story. So how did that happen?
This is really spooky because I was watching Mark and Sarah the other week.
Yeah.
And it's like, that sounds familiar. that sounds familiar. Me and Kelly met online playing a game.
No,
The same
I
as
didn't
what,
know
so-
that. I
yeah,
didn't
same
know
as what,
that.
same as what Mark and Sarah did.
Okay.
And then we became friends, and it was basically a car parking game. If you parked in her spot, and then you got a parking ticket and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So then we started talking. She loved the UK, I loved North America. Started talking about the weather, and she was sending me pictures when it was 3 foot of snow and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And originally we both had partners, and then within 6 to 8 months of each other, we're both separated. So we thought, let's meet up. So we thought, let's meet halfway. So
Okay.
I flew to New York, which halfway.
Yeah.
And
Who had the measuring stick out? Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
Well, Kelly is blonde, so and she won't see this. I'll be okay saying that, and she's not in the room. But yeah, we met up in New York and started seeing each other long distance. And the way that my shift pattern worked, because I was a paramedic at the time,
Yeah.
every 8 weeks I got 2 weeks off. So either she came to the UK or I flew to Canada, and we did that for 2 years before we got married, and then I moved to Canada.
Amazing. And so whereabouts in Canada are you?
I'm in Ontario. I'm in Ottawa.
In Ottawa. Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's the proper capital, not Toronto like people think.
So how far is that driving wise from Toronto? I've not been to Ottawa, so
It's a good 5 to 6 hours.
yeah.
It's a long way. It's
Yeah.
sort of like London to Scotland almost.
Yeah. And so when you landed in Canada, what was, obviously you had an idea, I guess, in terms of North American culture and stuff from trips and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But what was it actually like landing in a foreign nation and having to, okay, this is not just a family holiday. This is now real life.
It was so scary. Sort of like I was basically giving up everything that I had in the UK. So I knew that it was potentially on the cards. So when I separated from the person I was with, I decided to rent because I thought there's no point in buying because potentially I could be moving abroad. But the few months leading up to it, I was selling my furniture and all this kind of stuff. And then the day it happened, my sister and her partner took me to the airport. Her partner's a driving instructor, so I was abiding by the speed limit, and I'm tapping my watch going, we need to get to the airport. We need to get to the airport.
Yeah.
I made it just in time before the gate closed, which it was like kind of thing. And when I arrived, got met at the airport, straight through customs, and it started to snow. And it was a 40-minute drive from the apartment building that we're in, from the airport. And that day we had between 2 and 3 foot of snow from the time I landed at the airport to about 7 p.m. at night. And it was like, oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah.
Bit of a culture shock because people do things different over here. It's more American based than what it is kind of UK. The UK do things one way. And one of the first things, going to the store and buying a bag of milk. Like, who puts milk in a bag?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's right.
And it's getting used to stuff like that. And I'm talking about football in home, and I'm going, oh yeah, like the fixture list is coming out, and she went, fixture? That's like a light.
Yes.
So I had to get used to different terminology as well.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah, I was talking to Jenny last week, and she was saying to me, I used in one of my, I think it was when I was having the conversation with Ben Wagner, and I made some reference to making space in his diary or something, and they don't use diary, it's calendar, and there is all those sort of idiosyncrasies, aren't there, in terms of language. We all speak the same language, but actually in context it's very, very different.
Exactly. And I've kind of put myself in awkward positions by using terminology that we use in the UK that they don't use over here. And it's sort of like, what do you mean by that? Yeah. And it's like, I mean this. Oh, okay, then that's fine.
Yeah. So you work here as a paramedic, is that right? No.
I tried to get in as a paramedic, but they didn't recognize my qualifications.
Okay.
Putting along, and they wanted to send me back to school, which was going to cost $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. So I currently work for the Border Services.
Which means what?
It's basically I'm not on the front line, but basically I work for the people that look at your passport when you come into the airport or you come in.
Okay.
So I'm basically operational support. So we do like we make sure that the security cameras are okay and the cells are up to specifications, and make sure that they've got the correct amount of ammunition and they're using the correct weapons and all that kind of stuff. So it's quite good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to see you on, what's the program, the Border Force?
Oh, border security. Yeah, well, they're the frontline guys, and they, funnily enough, they film in Toronto, but they don't film anywhere else in Ontario. So I'm pretty good. But you probably see me like this. He's sort of at one point, sort of like, no, you're not really a Canadian.
And you've, I think, to remember, you've met a few people since you've been in Canada, I think, celebrity wise.
Yeah, so I'm involved with the Comic Con for Ottawa, Montreal, and now we do Winnipeg.
Right.
And I've got the lucky job of being the medical person for the celebrities and making sure that they're safe. So I'm like the head of security as well. So Chuck Norris, Val Kilmer, Patrick Stewart, a lot of the Doctor Who, Star Wars people. So yeah, I've met a few.
Well, no, they've met you, Lee. I mean, that's
yeah, okay,
it.
okay,
yeah. They've had the,
Funnily enough, Chuck Norris, he brought his own Texas Ranger with him, a proper Texas Ranger. And his name was Hatfield. He was one of the proper Hatfields from down south. When he found out that my name was Hatfield, he's like, Chuck, wait a minute. I need a photograph with Lee. We've got the same name. And it's like, hang on, we're holding Chuck Norris up here. Oh, he's fine. It's fine. It's like, yeah, so they come to meet me.
Brilliant. And your love and life, from all I can tell in terms of being in Canada, you've settled well and...
it's really weird. When I first came here, it was kind of like it was a naive version of the UK. So the UK are involved with a lot of things that happen in Europe, but some of the mentality seems to be a little bit like behind the times. It's really weird to kind of put your finger on, but it's very strange. But they think they are one of the G.A.T. However, they don't do some things the way that we do, and the UK do things better, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I've kind of settled in. We're just getting rid of winter now. Still got snow on the ground. Like nearly April. Yeah. In England, that would be, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to the news this morning from Toronto, and they were saying it's a cold day down in Toronto, and
it's really strange how in October time we will have the balcony door closed if it's like +5. This time of year, -1, -2, balcony doors open, because it's like, yay, it's getting warm.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that we can get -30, -40 in the hardest times of winter.
I was going to say, what's that been like? Because I would imagine the adjustment to extreme. Because I guess Boston, being north in the UK, is probably cooler than where I am here in Bournemouth.
Yes, yeah. But I used to do a lot of hiking, and I used to do a lot of like climbing and up in the hills, so I'm prepared for bad weather. I've been up in Scotland where 1 minute is raining and the next minute is bright sunshine.
Sure.
So I kind of prepared myself for how bad it was going to be, but it can be -30 and you're just going out in jeans and trainers.
Yeah,
it's like, it's only -30. Your skin will freeze in 10 minutes, but it's only -30.
Yeah. So have you done any fishing in the lake when it's frozen, all that sort of stuff? Is that
no? I kind of got offered. I know I kind of got offered it, but it never materialized. So I was quite disappointed. But apparently, people don't fish; they just go and drink beer.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, sort of like, come on. I don't know how to fish. Oh, ice fish. Oh, you'll be okay. We drink a lot of beer. Oh, okay, I can do that. Yeah, that's great.
What's your favourite tipple that you've come across since you've been in Canada?
Well, funnily enough, I drink a lot of moosehead.
Oh, good man. Well done.
Yeah. And I actually, while I still lived in the UK, I actually spoke to my local landlord, who actually bought some for me. Excellent. And he had it in the fridge, and he's sort of like, people going, oh, can I try that moosehead? No, that's private stock. And he would not sell it to anybody else unless I said it was okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You can
get it impressed about that.
Yeah, you can get it a bit easier now. Majestic's over here are selling it, so it's
one of the biggest. one of the biggest culture shocks was not be able to buy it in a store. They can now. It's just changed over the last couple of years, but
Right.
you had to go to a beer store to buy beer, or you go to a liquor store kind of thing. Not like you could walk into Asda and take it off. You can now. I'd say a couple of years ago it changed, but just going to a beer store to buy beer, and you got all the like the homeless guys outside asking for either a can or sort of change and stuff like that. That was a big culture shock.
Yeah, it is. I remember when we've done trips with the kids and stuff. And you go to you think you're going to a supermarket and you can get everything, and actually it's very, very different. And things that we noticed, we drink squash over here, where you can't really get squash in Canada.
Yeah.
Always all that sort of stuff that we just had assumed it would be there, and then you have to just rejig your brain how it all works.
It's quite funny because we've got two Scottish Irish stores that sell a lot of British stuff, and you'll buy something as simple as McVitie's digestive biscuits for like $8, and it's sort of like, but they get the squash, and they get the allegedly Cornish pastas and the pork pies and stuff like that. But it's like, it's not. No.
No, the first trip we did with our kids, we did go to a McDonald's foolishly, and I remember one of them had a milkshake or something, and just the content of the sugar was like 3 times as much as they put in the milkshakes over here. So it was very different. Even though it looks the same, it tastes very, very different. But
I remember just let me interrupt you. I went to Cornwall, a little city outside of Ottawa. And they go, we've got a Cornwall in the UK, but it's big. And we went into this little cafe, and I said, I'll get the drinks in. So I ordered the drinks. This woman goes, "You're from England?" "Yeah." "Do you know Mr. So-and-so in London?" Sort of like, seriously? And I could see the wife kind of like, don't have a go at her.
Yeah, it's a smaller place, but we don't know everybody. That's
exactly.
So you've landed in Canada. You've come to Ottawa. You've got half an eye on the Angels. You've got half an eye on the Red Sox, and you end up being a Jays fan. Tell me about your first Jays game. When was that? Who was that?
It was a dilemma. The first time I came to Canada, Kelly goes, "Right, we're going to go to Niagara Falls. I'm taking you to a baseball game, and we're going to do the touristy thing because it's your first time in Canada." So it's like, okay, great. So we stopped at this hotel way out of the city because the prices are extremely expensive. And she goes, "Okay, I've got the tickets for the Blue Jays. It's sort of like, it starts at this time. We'll turn up at this time. We'll go to the store. We'll buy you some goodies." Okay, great. So we got on the bus to go downtown. So I'm a stickler for detail. So I'm on the bus, and I'm like, "Right, you've got everything." So Kelly goes, "Yeah." "Are you sure you've got everything?" "Yeah." "Where are the tickets?" So they're in my... Oh crap, we haven't got the tickets. So we had to get off the bus.
No.
This is after like 20 minutes on the bus. No. We then had to cross the road, get on the bus the other side, come back to the hotel, pick up the tickets, and we just made it for the first pitch.
Oh my goodness.
And it's like, I was like, steam coming out my ears because I was so excited to go to the first baseball game, proper one that I knew people that supported it and stuff like that, and it was like, we're gonna miss it. But we got there for the very first pitch, so it's like, okay, I can relax now.
So when was this? What year would this?
This was it was July the 27th, 2011.
2011, right? Okay. So do you remember many of the the team at that time? Were they just names?
Because I knew I was doing this, I made sure that I did my research. Okay. So
go on then. So who do we have?
The team. We have Escobar.
Oh yeah.
Thames, or Thames as the UK people call him.
Yep.
Batista, Lind, Encarnacion, Schneider, Hill, Davis, Arancibia, and then the pitcher was Romerio.
So that wasn't a bad side. That's not a bad side.
No, it wasn't. No.
I mean,
and we were 3 seats from the third base as well, so it was really close.
Yeah. And compared to what you experienced at the Angels, which of course is West Coast, sunshine, as you say, waterfalls, all that sort of stuff. Was the roof open on the day you went?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was a nice summer evening. It was a 7 o'clock start.
Yeah.
The CN Tower was lit up. Like I say, nice and warm. Roof was open.
Yeah.
And it just like being in an outside park. It was like, it was great. It was an absolutely fabulous atmosphere. And I'm like, I'm watching baseball live. It's like going to watch like Manchester United, Chelsea, that kind of thing. It's like I'm watching baseball. Whereas the first time I went to watch the Angels, it was a touristy thing. What am I going to watch? Yeah, sure. I've seen it on TV. I've never really got involved with it. Who does what? Why is he throwing there? And all that kind of stuff. But because I'd actually got a little bit more involved, I was really looking forward to going to the very first Blue Jays game. Yeah.
And on that trip, did you just go to that single game, or was it like a multiple?
No, it was just that one single game.
Yeah.
It was because obviously Kelly was by herself at the time. Technically, I hadn't moved here, so money wasn't exactly fluent.
Sure.
Yes, I was still working, but she didn't know if I was going to like it or not.
Yeah.
So we only went for one game.
Yeah. And I mean, is Kelly a big Blue Jays fan? I mean, was it something that she could sort of lead you in terms of?
Yeah, she kind of knew more than if you asked some people about football in the UK.
Sure.
So she kind of knew the aspects of the game. She knew what most of the positions were. She knew why people were doing certain things.
Yeah.
Because I was asking more intricate questions, she then got me in touch with Bobby.
Right.
Bobby Bond.
Yeah.
And then he was the encyclopedia of baseball.
Yeah.
So I was asking all these random questions. And if you actually scroll back to the very beginning of the group, you can see, Bobby, what does this mean? Bobby, what does that mean? And there was like 4 of us originally, and I was asking these questions. And we met a friend who was in Northern Ireland, Merv, and he was the same. He was a Blue Jays fan already. I'm not quite sure how we actually met him, but so he knew a little bit about the Blue Jays. So I was kind of the outsider. So I was trying to get all this information as much as I can. And some of the questions were like really, really naive. It's like, what does that mean? It means that. Oh, okay. It means that. Okay, right.
Well, and I think when you watch the game live, actually in the ballpark, of course, you don't get the benefit of the commentary and
exactly
an explanation that's going on. You're literally just watching a game unfold in front of you. As much as they put stats and stuff up on the screen and so on, it's not a very helpful educational experience to learn a game. You need that input,
and it's really weird because you used to play rounders as a kid when you was at school and stuff like that. And you got one run if you managed to go all the way around, and that's how I thought baseball was. I didn't understand he stopped at first base and now he stopped at second. I only thought that they scored when they ran for a home run.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so we can score different ways. And Kelly's going, all right, okay, the naive guy was kicking in again.
Yeah. Have you found all these statistics?
To be honest, I'm not a big stats fan. And like I've been watching some of your other podcasts that you do, and you ask people your favorite person and stuff like that. I'm a team watcher. I'm not going, great, so and so's playing. No, Steve Hunter's playing today. We're going to win. That's not how I do things.
That won't happen.
Yeah.
That won't happen. Just put it out
I actually I watch it for the team experience.
Yeah.
So I don't follow stats. And like one thing that they do over here, and especially in hockey, and they do it a little bit in baseball as well. Like, for example, I'm in Ottawa, so there's got the Ottawa Senators. So the captain is Brady Tkachuk. So they go, oh, it's Brady Tkachuk and the Senators. And I hate that because it's one person never makes a team.
Sure.
So I follow the team rather than follow individuals. I enjoy watching the individuals, but it's a team event. It's not a one person event. If Batista at the time didn't play, the other 10 guys didn't go, okay, I'm not playing today because Jose's not playing. So I'm always the team rather than an individual.
Yeah.
And like I say, the stats, like half the stats still mean nothing to me. But as long as the team are winning and I know how the standings work, then that's all I'm bothered about.
Yeah.
Because I can see how well or how poor we're doing.
Totally. How do you find the lack of relegation and promotion? Because that, as again, I was speaking to Jenny last week about she's a big Gunners fan, and her experience of learning a North American sport that doesn't have that, which is the essence of the grassroots of football here, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And we do have I'm going to hate saying this, we do have a soccer team here. Can't call it football because they've got Canadian football and they've got NFL.
Yeah.
And they just have one league, and it's like, you haven't got the excitement of promotion or relegation.
Yeah.
And that was an education in itself, because they when you watch a football match and the opposing fans jeer at the keeper, and if he's about to take a goal kick, they go, "What?" And then whatever they come out with. They were doing that to the home goalkeeper. And I'm going, guys, what are you doing? We're cheering him on. No, you're not. Yeah, that's actually derogatory. And then they go, we've got a PK. So sorry, we've got a what? A PK. What? Oh, you mean a penalty? That's what I said, a PK. And the very first game that I saw in Ottawa, it was the Ottawa Fury. And they played Rangers. So it was a time when Ali McCoy was the manager of Rangers. And they had a big screen. And they had OTT for Ottawa, and then they had GLA. I sort of like, guys, why have you got GLA? Well, it's Glasgow Rangers. Guys, you can't have this. Why? Because you've got Rangers and you've got Celtic, two arch rivals, as bad as the Leafs and and Montreal or whatever. I said, you need to change it on the screen. You need to put RAN for Rangers.
Yeah.
And they went, but why? They just did not understand the concept of rivalry and stuff like that. And it was like, it's weird. It really is. It's funny, to be fair.
But there is a big football story happening this weekend today.
Yes.
On the day of our recording, Canada didn't win on whatever, was it Friday night?
Yeah.
Thursday night against Costa Rica. Yeah. So they've got a massive game tonight and could potentially be in the World Cup. I mean, so for the second time, I believe.
Yeah, they haven't been in since, I think it's like 36 years or something like that.
Was 1986, I think, was the last.
Yeah. So one guy who I'm friends with, and I've been to a couple of football matches too, he's a big Canadian soccer fan. Yeah. And he posted a meme because Italy have got knocked out. And and there's a meme that you see quite frequently with Homer Simpson backing into a hedge.
Yep.
And he's got, in one picture, he's got Italy backing into the hedge. And then on the other picture, he's got Canada coming out. And I'm like, dude, you can't celebrate until it's official. Nice. I says, because if you lose, then you're good. Yeah. And he went, oh, yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah. But I think it's, I'm not sure. I think it's tonight. I think they played Jamaica. Yeah. Played Jamaica. Jamaica have only won one game. So you'd like to think they're going to do it.
It's going to be cold. I think they said the temperature is going to be like 2 degrees or something. I mean, it's not below freezing, but it's going to
be overnight here tonight. It's been quite mild all week. We've had some good temperatures, plus degrees, but it's going to be like -12 over here overnight. Yeah. So tonight's game in Toronto, it's going to be a bit chilly.
It is going to be chilly, but we hope they get through because.
I think it'll be
fantastic. Oh, it'll be totally insane.
Yeah.
Whether they would ever get out of the group stages if they get there, but I think just let's get them there, and
exactly.
I think it'd be a massive story. I think really nice to see something outside the sort of big major sports in North America for a country like Canada to come through. And so
that's it. But they still call it the Soccer World Cup, which does like grind sort of like annoys me a little bit. It's like it's not soccer, it's football.
Anyhow, off the football, back to baseball. So following your initial introduction to the Jays in 2011, the Jays went into a sort of a bit of a quiet patch in terms of how well they were doing. And I remember the first time I brought my family over in 2013, that year they were destined to do well. They bought in a whole load of players, and the prediction was that they looked good on paper. But I think almost by the end of April, it just hadn't gone well, and we were sort of out of the running even that early in the season. How did you find that in terms of trying to engage with the team that perhaps wasn't doing so well, up to that sort of 2015?
It was kind of, I was still enjoying watching it because of the distance that we are from Toronto. We don't get to go very often because it is quite expensive for us to go there, hotels and tickets and travel and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So because they were playing most nights, I hadn't really got used to connecting with Canadian TV shows. So the default was baseball.
Yeah.
And watching them every night, and you kind of, you listen to what Buck and the other guys were saying, and it's sort of like, the potential was there, but things didn't gel accordingly. And then you had some of the players that, they see, for want of a term, they were a little bit out of the league. Like, let me use one guy, for example, like Travis Schneider. A lot of people liked him, but he never seemed to raise up to the level of what was expected. It wasn't a Bautista or an Encarnacion. That kind. It was kind of like a mediocre player, and I seemed like they had too many of those people in the team. Potentially they could be good on a good day, but depending on when that good day happened, it wasn't consistent enough to make a decent impression. And because we're always in the same league, it's the hardest league in baseball pretty much. And we was always getting hammered by the Yankees and the Red Sox, and it was like, okay, but it was something to watch. So I was enjoying watching the baseball, even though we didn't win.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you can, as you say, you can still learn about the game. And I think one of the things I loved when I first came to Canada in '94 was that whole concept of, because I was obviously on vacation, but you come back in the day, at the end of the day, and there's a game on, and you don't literally have to watch every moment of the game. You can go and have a beer, have a meal, whatever, and the game's just on in the background, and just by osmosis, you are learning about how baseball works, and that's the one thing I love about watching.
That's it. And I when I speak to people about it, I always kind of refer it to cricket, because cricket's exactly the same. They stop for sandwiches for lunch. They stop for afternoon tea. And you can go, like you say, you can go away and have a lunch, or you can have a meal and you can come back. And what's happened? Oh, not much. Okay. We carry on watching it. And it's the same kind of principle, just different aspects.
Yeah.
Games.
How much do you watch baseball, not at the ground, but in terms of being in Ottawa? Is it something culturally that you would get together with a bunch of mates? Because obviously over here, we talk often about having, Blue Jays parties and trying to gather everybody, but that's probably because we're such a minority group that actually connecting with people is a good thing. Whereas obviously if it's a football thing, we still do that. Is that a cultural thing that they do in Canada? Would that be something that you'd get together for a game?
It kind of is. But you've got to find people in the right culture. Because I just referred back to the soccer for a second. All the expats go and watch the soccer. So a lot of Brits get together and turn up and watch the football.
Yeah.
We do have a baseball team in Ottawa, but it's not a successful team. So when I first started, it was the Ottawa Fat Cats, and they called them the Fat Cats because of Parliament being in the city. And I was following them on Twitter, and I turned up for a couple of games. And unlike the Blue Jays, you can actually go onto the pitch afterwards and meet the players, have photographs with them, get autographs. Whereas the higher you play, the less that kind of happens.
Sure.
And people going, oh, it's sort of like, you're not a local. No, I'm from England, and I follow you guys on. And they were really impressed that somebody from England was taking the time to follow them. And I was planning to come back for another visit, and I actually emailed them and said, is it possible if I can have a tour of the ground? Because I've only been there as a spectator. I'd like to know what happens behind the scenes. So the CEO who emailed me back, absolutely not a problem. You're a visitor from the UK. It would be a great thing to have, and we'll make a publicity thing of it. For whatever reason, I could not make that game. So they actually played the game on Rogers TV at the time, and they actually announced my name on the TV.
No way.
Yeah, to say, unfortunately, one of our special guests couldn't make it today, but would like to say hi to Lee Hatfield in England. And it's like, wow. So the next time that I actually managed to go, they'd actually got into the playoffs unexpectedly. Yeah. So they couldn't do it because of all the hype. So they actually got me a signed picture of all the team, baseball of all, And then I went back on the pitch afterwards, and all the guys are going, "You're the guy from England, aren't you?" And they actually remembered me from last time, which was really cool. But they were only getting maybe 2,500, 3,000 people in a 8,000 stadium. Yeah. So it wasn't really that popular. But you've got your diehard fans, and that was it. But we're playing the likes of Quebec. We're playing a couple of teams just over the border in the US. Yeah. But it was a case of, if they came from the US to Ottawa, we had to pay for them to come to us. Yeah. Yeah. So they then folded after a few years, and then they went on from, I think, 2010 to 2012. We never had a team for a few years, and then the Ottawa Champions got created. And they lasted right up to the start of COVID, and they won one championship. And it was the same kind of, it was the same format and everything. Yeah. But they was a little bit better. But they folded in 2019, and now this year we've got the Titans. So they're kind of like a feeder team, not for MLB, but for the next level up kind of thing. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how they are. And what they have over here, they have what called flexi packs for tickets. Yep, that's right. Yep. Yeah. So I'm due to get an email very soon from the guy just to say, how many tickets do you want? And because it's probably a 10-minute drive away. Yeah. Baseball. So yeah, I do follow a lot of local baseball. That's cool. Even though I'm still a Blue Jays fan as well. Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think it's it's a little bit like football here. I'm sure everybody has their local teams, and then they have their, big hitters that they follow. As a kid, even I grew up, in the stone's throw away from AFC Bournemouth. Liverpool was still my childhood team, and I will always have an eye towards how they're doing. But I still love watching. Obviously, Bournemouth have gone up the ranks from when I was watching as a child. So it's lovely to hear that. So presumably they just play within a Canadian league, do they? No, it's kind of, there is a Canadian content, but you've got a few teams that are over the border. Right. So it's probably, there's like 2 or 3 Canadians, and then probably 4 or 5 American ones, but not deep into the US. So New York State and stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think the furthest one might be Washington this year. Right. Okay. So reasonable distance. Yeah. But nothing further, nothing on the West Coast. And of course, the big question will be: are they all vaccinated? Because nobody's going anywhere without that pass, and I think that'll be really fascinating to see how this is all going to pan out as time goes by. Oh yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah. So let's just dip into the 15-16 seasons, which of course were the last real high point for the Jays. What was that like watching in from your neck of the woods? Oh man, it was so exciting. I don't often get on the edge of my seat when I'm watching games, but when you've got the likes of Bautista doing the backflip and stuff like that, you're kind of like, oh yeah, this is and you're getting excited because you know that they're going to get to the playoffs. and it's sort of like, winning the FA Cup or winning the Euros, and it was like something was exciting and it was happening in a good way.
Yeah.
And there was loads of information on TV, sort of like, this is going to happen. And there was a lot more people wearing the shirts, because obviously people jumping on the bandwagon because the team's doing well.
Yeah.
And it was must watch TV, definitely must watch TV. And it was awesome. The vibe was really good, especially when, like, say, that one particular season when they got into, they got within touching distance of the finals.
Yeah,
it was really a really good time to watch.
And I think the ripples, out of Toronto, and I think again it's something that we can't get the concept of here in the UK, where you've got one team that is effectively representing a whole nation.
Yeah,
I think uniquely the Jays are in that position, because just about in every other sport there are multiple teams, 6 or 7 hockey teams across Canada that are playing in the NHL and so on. But for the Jays, they are the hope for Canada in the MLB, and
that's it. And if you go and watch them play in Seattle, the amount of Jays fans that come over the border from Vancouver and places like that, it's kind of Jays from east to west, whereas in the US you've got like Boston, New York, LA. You've got the little groups, and then you've got a splattering of support from across the country. Sure. But with the Jays, it's basically a country team. It is the the Canadian baseball team.
Yeah. And what's it like at this time of year? Because obviously we're all very excited that spring training is happening and baseball's around the corner, particularly after all the CBA stuff. But we're in the sort of last stretch of the hockey season. Are Canadians still very much wired into hockey world, and
yes,
we'll pick up the baseball stuff once hockey's out the way? Does it feel like that?
You kind of still have your same factions. So like I've got a buddy who's a really big baseball fan. So he couldn't wait until the lockout was over. He was really getting excited. And then you've got the hockey fans, die-hard hockey fans that play leisurely as well. But there are quite a few. But because we're from Ottawa, and the Ottawa Senators are not the best team in the world,
sure.
A lot of people just go, well, they're not going to make the playoffs, so we'll start watching baseball. And this last week, because I've been working from home quite a bit, just about every day, there's been a baseball game on.
Yeah. And
it's sort of like, I've been able to see the team grow this year by watching the spring training. Whereas when I was doing before COVID and you were in the office, you're only getting like your phone buzzing if a run happens, and you don't really get involved. But because like my computer's here, my TV's over there, I can watch TV perfectly while I'm either working or socializing on. So I'm actually learning about the team more. Like now that we've got Chapman and we've got a couple of other new guys coming in, it's
Kakichu, the pitchers.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's really getting exciting for the season to start, and especially with some of the good wins that we've had already. I know it's only spring training, but we've really like put our name out there this year, I think.
I think we'll get into sort of where we feel this season's going to go. The expectation around the Jays, I think this year is very exciting.
Yeah,
a lot of people outside of the Jays world, I mean, of course we're all biased, so we're all going to say they're going to do brilliantly, but I think outside of the Jays world, most people seem to be suggesting that they should be coming out with the AL East Divisional Championship. I think the Rays are our nemesis. They have been for years now, and I think they are the other team to beat in our division. I'm not sure the Yankees or the Red Sox are quite there this year, and obviously Baltimore is where it is. So on paper, we've got an amazing offense.
Yeah.
On paper, we've got now a very good 5-man starting rotation. It just all depends, I think, like any sporting team, injuries, all that sort of stuff that comes into play, and how the team responds to that.
That's it. And I've noticed that now we've got Springer, which I managed to see last year. The game that Mark caught the ball in I was
yes.
actually there for that week for that
Oh, were
one
you?
game as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to watch the likes of Springer, and now we've got a solid third baseman in Chapman. If these guys stay healthy throughout, we've got a really, really good chance. If we start getting niggling injuries that prolong throughout the season, obviously then our performance can suffer, and I think that could be the downfall. But if these guys stay fit and healthy, I think we're going to be right up there.
Yeah,
crossed, obviously.
Absolutely. Who out of anybody would you least like to see get injured?
I think if you are a conscientious supporter, you have to want Chapman to stay healthy, Springer to stay healthy, Vladdy to stay healthy, because I think they, and you need some decent first, your pitchers, starting pitchers to stay healthy.
Yeah.
If some of these start falling off and start getting injured, and then you've got to bring the, I hate to say, but the second tier into the system, they're not as good, they're not as experienced, and and the pressure could get to them, and that's when we could kind of like plummet just a little bit.
But we're not thinking that way, Lee.
No, we're not.
We're not thinking that. We're glass half full, not glass half empty. It's funny. I was listening to. Sorry, go on.
Glass is always full, mate. If it's not, it's time to get another round.
Yeah, absolutely. I was listening to Blair and Barker yesterday, and there was a couple of people who called in who were very negative about the prospect of the Jays this year, and I said, I can't believe it. Of course, there's always going to be ifs and buts, and that's the nature of sport, isn't it? But I think they've put themselves as strong a position at this point in time. I'd be interested to see whether they do any further trades, before the trade deadline. I think the big left-handed batting thing seems still to be sort of an issue because we're so right-handed dominant. We are, yeah, for sure. But it's really weird because yes, we kind of peaked in the 2015 kind of area, and then we kind of plummeted a little bit, and then the behind the scenes management changed and all this kind of stuff, and because they always go, oh, this is a rebuild season and next year is also going to be a rebuild season, the expectation is low. Sure. And I think that's what mentality people have, sort of like, oh, is this going to be another rebuild? This is going to be another rebuild. But I think this year, most of the jigsaw pieces have been put into place for us to compete at a decent level. And that the way we were played against the Yankees midweek, and we basically, it was a really good performance. Yeah. If we can maintain that throughout the season, then we're going to be up there. Definitely going to be up there because we have the ability to be up there. We have the people that can make us, like Vladdy doing his All Stars, and he got how many hits, home runs did he get? To have the likes of that in our team, and for that to be utilised, as long as people like that stay healthy, then we've got a good enough chance as anybody else. We're not going to be in the lower half. We're going to be in the top half of that league. Oh, without question. I would be disappointed. I'm not even considering that they're going to be lower than second. I mean, I think, as I say, I think between them and the Rays, if they ended up less than second, then I think that would have been a really disappointing season. Yeah, because you've like the Yankees and the Red Sox, even though they're still good, a lot of their significant players are actually no longer with the teams. They've retired. Yeah. So they're in the transition period of creating another great team. Whereas if they're still in that transition period and we're creeping up, we're going to overtake them, and we're going to be in that position of being the leaders of the group for sure. I mean, how did you feel about Josh Donaldson being signed by the Yankees? Yeah, one of our main oppositions, and sort of like, why not put it in your contract? You can't sign for anybody in the same week. But that won't like that. Yeah, I know. But the news that we've got about Chapman, he seems to be as good, if not better. And we've always been struggling with a third baseman. Yeah. And now that we've got someone like him,
he's going to be the next Donaldson. He's going to be the next Bautista kind of thing. Well, okay, I know we've got Vladdy as the next Bautista, but yeah, he's going to be the next key figure in that ball.
Absolutely.
Group.
I think for this we've got 2-3 years maybe window where the Jays are literally putting all their eggs in one basket and getting the playing pieces that they can to fill those gaps that we had. I think the fact that Simeon's gone, Ray's gone, we were all disappointed when those trades were made, but it has opened the door for somebody like a Chapman coming in.
Exactly. You know, those guys were good, and they had the potential to be better, but sadly, in baseball and hockey and stuff like that, money talks, and it's a sad state of affairs. There's no loyalty to a club anymore. It's all about how much can I make in my small career window, and that's all it is nowadays, which is a pretty sad thing, to be fair.
Yeah, and that is again another major difference in terms of sport, because obviously the CBA agreement was, well, we didn't. I mean, I honestly thought we weren't going to see baseball for some months to come. To be quite frank, thrilled that it's come. They managed to get to an agreement.
Yeah, it was really weird because there was hardly any TV coverage about it, and what I saw, it was really kept quiet. I think everybody was in the same frame of mind. We're sort of like, is it going to happen? Because you would never hear of a blackout in the UK unless there was a power cut. And it's right. And it's, I know Sky have that thing where they don't play like Premiership games on a Saturday, which is technically the same kind of thing. But to block out a full season, that's unheard of.
I know. It's crazy.
And it's like, and it's money talks. It's as simple as that. It really is.
Yeah. It is, unfortunately, the way the world works, but we are where we are. But we have got baseball, so let's be grateful for that. We have got something to really look forward to. Lee, it's been brilliant chatting with you. I've really enjoyed just hearing some of your stories. I'm just gonna end our time as I have with everybody else, going through my top 10.
Before you do that, I want to show you two pops that I've got.
Okay.
Two baseball pops.
All right.
One of them,
there we go.
Is
Ace.
Yeah.
Good man.
The second one is a little bit more random.
Actually, who's that?
It's the green baseball fury from the Warriors.
Oh, there you go. Check you out.
Yeah. So I'm definitely got my baseball stuff there.
You got your pop collection going.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, I've got more, but they're more Doctor Who and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Have you got any bobbleheads amongst your collection at all?
No.
You need to get on the bandwagon.
I need to contact Pav.
Yeah, Pav, obviously in our UK group, he's our Mr. Bobblehead, and certainly some of the ones behind me here were his. But you need to get yourself booked into one of those promotional games this year and see if you can get yourself a bobblehead.
I will, as you've told me, I will do that. I'll make sure it happens.
Absolutely. Loads of brilliant giveaways this year. I mean, I think they've really pushed the boat out in terms of, getting fans back into the stadium. Obviously, we've had, 2 years of little baseball in Toronto. So I think, the Jays are doing everything they can to do that. Of course, they've announced this over the last couple of days about potential alterations inside the ballpark as well. I think
I saw that.
Seats at 100 level are looking to be turned to face home plate, because at the moment they sort of face out into the middle of the ballpark, which is a bit weird. But
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is very exciting times. Okay, then, right, let's do our top 10 with you. Who was your favourite player from 2021?
I think you're going to have to say it's got to be Vladdy, because the impact that he brought to the game. It was a second to none batter. To be fair, he was it. Can't fault it.
Yeah, fair enough. Favorite player of all time, Jays player?
Oh, you said a Jays player. I'm going to have to go with Bautista, I think. Yeah, because he got that aura of being the special one, and it wasn't just in Blue Jays world. Yeah, it was everywhere. He was a decent guy, definitely good player.
Good player, hated by everybody, but amongst Jays fans, was certainly there. Your favourite non-Jays player? Anybody else that you've What's in
Actually,
that?
when I first arrived in Canada, I was volunteering for St. John Ambulance just for something to do because I couldn't work at the time.
Right.
So, get out and meet people. And I went to the local baseball stadium because they had a family baseball day. And I don't know if you're going to know the name, but a lot of people will. Fergie Jenkins,
Okay.
who was a Chicago Cubs Hall of Famer.
Great.
And he turned up as a guest of honor. So I've got photographs with him, and
Nice.
he had his World Series ring. Like, hey Lee, put this ring on. Get a photograph with the ring. And I sort of like,
don't drop it.
what? Yeah, and he was. Sort of like, is this like worth a lot? He went, yeah. I went, how fast can you run?
Yeah.
So yeah, but he played for the Chicago Cubs. He played for the Phillies, Texas Rangers, and unfortunately the Red Sox. But he was such a nice guy, and he was the first kind of real baseball player that I'd ever met.
Yeah.
So got to be Fergie Jenkins.
Fergie Jenkins.
Because I actually shared a picture on Facebook, and Bobby Bond went, "How? Who? Like, how did this happen?" Because obviously he knew who he was.
Yeah.
So a few people might know who he is, but yeah, that's my.
You need to send me the photo, and we'll stick it on the video. Yeah,
Okay.
send me the photo, and everybody can have a look at that. Yeah, Fergie Jenkins. That's brilliant. Okay, your favourite ballpark away from Rogers Centre?
Well, I've only been to two. I've been to the Rogers Centre, and I've been to LA. So I'm going to have to say LA, but I do want to go to Wrigley Park. With the what do they call it? The hedge and the ivy. Yeah, I want to go and see that, and I also want to go to the Red Sox one, but I've not been there yet, so I can't comment.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, and what's lovely about that sort of northeast corner of the states?
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, it's all relative, of course, but it's not that far to get to across to the Boston.
It's probably quicker to get to New York and Boston than what it is to get to Toronto. To be fair.
Yeah.
Kelly's shaking her head, so
she doesn't agree.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Your favorite baseball food? What would you have if you went to a game? What would you go to be?
I'm a very picky eater, as a lot of people know. I don't do cheese. I'm a weirdo.
Wow.
So yeah. So Putin's out the window for me. So I just go for what's available. So yeah, hot dog, ketchup.
Okay. Very traditional. Excellent.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good.
Yeah.
And your favorite drink that would go with your hot dog?
If they don't have Moosehead, which a lot of places don't, I'm just like a Budweiser or whatever lager's available. Yeah. Canadian Molson's or whatever.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like Labatt's. I mean, I know that's
it seems to be a little bit, bit weak.
Yeah, it's been linked with obviously the Jays for a long time. Labatt's, and I remember on my first visit,
I do tell a lot of people that Canadian Molson's lager was actually created by a Brit who lived in Lincolnshire and emigrated to Canada.
Is that right?
Yeah. So when people go, "Oh, it's a good Canadian drink," actually, it's an English one.
There you go. That's a little bit of trivia. Brilliant. Day or night game? Definitely
a day game. On a nice sunny day. But even locally, you get a nice hot day. You're sat in the seats watching the game.
Yeah.
Beer in your hand, abusing the away players as they do politely in Canada. Number 15, your mother's got lovely hair. And I've heard those kind of comments, and it's absolutely hilarious. So typical Sunday afternoon out in the sun with a few beers. Definitely a day game.
Day game. Very good. Your favourite Jays jersey colour?
It's dark blue.
Yeah, dark blue. Yeah, you're very traditional on that. Very good.
Yeah, I'm not keen on that light blue at all.
Are you not?
No, it's too light. I think it's too light. I'm so used to seeing them play in this colour.
Yeah,
I think I'm a bit of a traditionalist, really. Where it's like that's what I've seen them play in. That's the colour I like.
It is funny because their home jersey is actually the white one. That's the alternate jersey. So it's very weird, but I think most people probably have the dark blue jerseys. Very good. Your favorite? No, sorry. Your favorite jersey number. What would you go for on the back of your jersey?
Well, bearing in mind at the beginning of this, I said that I wasn't really an individual sort of like person. I'm more the team.
Yeah.
But saying that, I do have number 13 on the back of here for Brett Laurie.
I was going to say, is that Brett Laurie? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to go with that. But I'm not really a numbers person. I will, if I buy a shirt, normally this has only got a number on it and a name on it because Kelly bought me it.
Yeah.
But I would normally just buy the shirt with a plain back on.
Right.
I'm not a big numbers or names person for the back of the shirt, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay.
Thing is, though, especially in this game, where you buy a shirt with somebody's name on it, 6 months later they leave.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn.
Yeah, I think I've got Bautista and a Tulowitzki and stuff still hang. Russell Martin, all hanging up in the wardrobe. But they're nice memories.
Exactly. And people don't diss you for wearing them because
no, totally.
Because it's still part of the team. They wouldn't be where they were without these people on the back of our shirts.
Yeah, exactly. You sound like an MLB owner in that statement right there. Maybe we should have got you involved in the CBA negotiations.
Yeah, I'd be there.
And last one, roof open or roof closed?
I think I've already addressed that. Definitely roof open.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, with Canada, it can be nice during the day and be decent weather, but then at night time, the temperatures can depending on what time of year, can drop considerably. So to enjoy it with the roof open, you got the nice fresh air coming in. It's like being outside. Yeah, I don't think you can fault it with the roof being open. When I went last year when Mark and Sarah was there, it was a bit of a wet day. But then 15 minutes into the game, they opened the roof and the atmosphere was completely different. It really was. Yeah, definitely. It was great.
As I said before, there's nothing nicer than sitting under the CN Tower, blue sky overhead. Baseball's meant to be played outside.
Exactly.
Totally agree with you.
For sure.
Brilliant stuff, Lee. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed our time.
Oh, it's been a blast.
It's been great. It's been really cool catching up with you. I know we've known each other a long time now. And thank you so much for
2013.
Yes, indeed. I think I joined the group, the Facebook group. I think somewhere around when I brought my kids over for the first time. So I wasn't quite there at the very, very start, but
I have to thank you though, because when we started, it was 4 people, and now we've got 700 to 800. We're on Twitter. You've got a podcast. This is not me. This is you. You are the leader of this group, not me. I created it, so I built the foundation, but you've taken it further and further than what I could have ever imagined. So I'm going to thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, mate. That's very, very, very kind of you.
Give you a big sloppy kiss when I see you next.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've loved every minute of creating or helping to create a family of friends and fans. One of the things I particularly enjoy doing is connecting people together and over our joint passion of watching the Jays. So
that's it. And we've got so many different people. Like we've got the secret popcorn eater. We've got like Sandy.
Yep.
And her family, and you've got Nigel, and we've got Bobby, and we've got yourself, and we've got people from Italy, and we've got people from all over the Scottish contingent, and it's so big now, and it's like almost every day, people are joining, and it's like how big can this get?
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. Nice positive end to our time together. So Lee, thank you so much, mate. Really appreciated it. We will definitely get you back on as the season goes along. It'd be cool to catch up again. And guys, just to remind you, if you'd like to come on and just tell us a little bit about your Blue Jays story, I would love to talk with you. Just get in touch. All the contact details, as usual, will be at the end of the pod. But until next time, we'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.
The Red, White, and Blue Jays podcast is a production of Blue Jays Fans UK. If you've got a Blue Jays story to share, let us know. Email us at bluejaysfansuk@gmail.com and follow along on Twitter and Instagram at Blue Jays Fans UK. I'm your announcer, Jim Langton. Thanks for listening.